Let's get one thing straight. This isn't science fiction. This isn't something that might happen. It's happening right now. There's a global surveillance system up and running, an unblinking eye in the sky, and it's designed for one thing: permanent, total visibility of, well, everything.
That quote you just saw, it's not some exaggerated claim. It's the simple truth of our new reality. We're talking about a system so vast, so persistent that it creates a permanent record, a catalog really, of all physical movement. And the bottom line is, there is quite literally nowhere left to hide.
Okay, so how is this even possible? The core technology behind it all is called Wide Area Motion Imagery, or WAMI for short. And you've got to understand, this isn't just a better camera, it's a complete game changer. It's a system that doesn't just focus on one target. Nope, it watches everything, all at once, all the time.
To really get just how huge of a leap this is, you need to think about what came before. Old-school surveillance was like trying to find a needle in a haystack with a pair of tweezers. It was a game of chance, you know? You had to be looking at the exact right spot at the exact right time. WAME? Well, it just throws out the rulebook.
Just look at this comparison. A normal surveillance camera gives you what they call a soda straw view. Imagine looking through a tiny straw. You see one little piece of the puzzle. If you're not pointed in the right direction when something happens, poof, it's gone. You missed it. WAMI is the total opposite. We're talking about a single sensor flying miles above a city that monitors the entire area. It captures every single moving car, person, you name it, all at the same time. This means you can have a whole team of analysts, each one watching a different part of the city, all getting their video from that one single sensor.
And here's where it gets, honestly, a little unsettling. This is the most powerful part of the whole thing, because everything is being recorded, constantly. Analysts can literally rewind the clock. They can go back in time, hours, days, even weeks, to see exactly what happened leading up to an event. And the whole time they're doing that, the system is still recording the present. It's a true time machine for surveillance.
So, you might be wondering, where does all of this footage go? It doesn't just get deleted, right? Nope, it gets stored. It's all kept in a massive, searchable archive. What they're building is a permanent visual record of our public lives.
And this right here, this is what it looks like from the analyst's side. They're using a system, something like HyperStare, to organize all of this WAMI data. An operator can literally just point and click on any building, any intersection, any spot in the city, and instantly call up the entire history of movement around that point. Every car that came, every person who left, it's all there.
So let's walk through how this works in a real investigation. Say there's an event, like an explosion. The investigators, they don't just show up and look at the damage. The first thing they do is rewind the clock. They find the vehicle that planted the bomb, and then they just follow it backwards in time. They can trace it through the city, hour by hour, see exactly where it came from, where it stopped, who the driver met with, and then from that point, they can start tracing all of those people and their vehicles. They can build out entire networks, all starting from a single moment.
The sheer scale of this data archive it's just hard to wrap your head around. A single one of these systems can hold tens of petabytes of data. Now, what does that mean? Well, think about this. The entire text collection of the Library of Congress is about 10 terabytes. We're talking about a level of data storage that's almost geological in scale. It's a visual graveyard where the past is preserved forever.
Okay, so that's how it works over a city. But how do you take that and scale it up to cover the entire planet? To achieve that kind of, well, digital omniscience, you need three key pieces to work together: a whole new generation of satellites, an incredibly powerful AI, and some major breakthroughs in, of all things, basic physics.
You know, the very first spy satellites from the Corona program were unbelievably clunky. They literally took pictures on film, then dropped the canister from orbit in a little bucket with a parachute, and a C-130 cargo plane had to try and snag it out of midair. It's wild. Now, compare that to today. The National Reconnaissance Office, the NRO, is building what they call a proliferated architecture. It's a huge network, a constellation of hundreds of smaller, interconnected satellites all working together and sending data back instantly.
And they are not wasting any time. In just an 18-month period, the NRO put over 100 new satellites into orbit for this network. The whole point is to increase what they call revisit rates. Basically, how often a satellite is overhead for any spot on Earth. The end goal? To get those rates so high that they have truly persistent 24/7 global coverage.
Okay, so you've got this massive network creating a tsunami of data. How on earth do you manage it all?
You can't just throw more people at it, so you build an AI brain. It's called sentient, and it acts like an artificial brain for the whole system. It sifts through all that data, finds patterns that a human analyst would never spot, and then, on its own, it retasks the satellites to take a closer look. They call this tipping and queuing, where one sensor tips off another one, all happening automatically without any human needing to push a button.
But it's not just about having more satellites or smarter software. The actual hardware, the physics of the sensors themselves, is taking a huge leap forward. What you're looking at here is a schematic for a component that uses graphene. Now, without getting too deep in the weeds, what materials like this do is let them build sensors that are smaller, faster, and way more powerful than what was possible before. They're literally pushing the boundaries of physics to see and process more from space.
So, let's put it all together. You take the all-seeing eye of Whammy. You connect it to a global network of satellites. You give it an AI brain to make sense of everything, and you store it all in a permanent memory. What you get when you combine all those pieces is something new, a total form of surveillance. You get the orbital panopticon.
It really is a complete system of systems. You have Whammy acting as the eye, just constantly taking in the raw visual data. The NRO satellite network is like the global nervous system, making sure there are no blind spots. The sentient AI, that's the brain, processing everything in real time. And those massive data archives, that's the permanent perfect memory.
So just take a second and think about what this really means for you, for me, for all of us. Every trip to the store, every route you drive to work, every park you walk through, it's all being collected, it's all being stored. Your entire life lived out in public is becoming a searchable database.
And that leaves us with a pretty heavy question, doesn't it? In a world where there's no real anonymity anymore, where your past is never really in the past, but is a permanent record that can be re-examined over and over, what does that do to us? When every moment out in the open is archived forever, what happens to the idea of privacy? What about forgiveness? What does the past even mean anymore?